So, good evening, dear friends. This stream is going to be in English, and we have Ying Tan with us. Ying Tan is from Brooklyn. You may be familiar with her. She was
Right.
running for city council, right? Ying,
Yeah, I
as
ran
a
last year.
Republican. Yeah, it was a good run. She lost, but she never quit, and she
Hmm.
keeps on keeping on. She's now in Pennsylvania, and she's doing what is called canvassing. Not everybody knows what canvassing is. Also talking to people, knocking on doors. 140 doors this up today.
Today, yes, I just knocked on 140 doors for today.
So tell us what's going on and why are you doing it?
Well, I think most of us, I actually with around 60 more Asians friends, we're doing the canvassing across the whole Pennsylvania in the last 4 months. And I was very focused in the first couple months in New York, but later on, like recently in the last 2 months, I'm more focused in the Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania, as we know, that it is the swing state. This is very important. If you win Pennsylvania, you can win the elections. So as we look back to the poll, we are a little bit behind. So I decided I have to move over here and then have to do the canvassing for Trump to make sure that we will catch up, or maybe we will be ahead of Harris.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, and Pennsylvania is vital. And John Fetterman, senator, Democrat senator from Pennsylvania, he said that he's very worried because he sees plenty of um, energy for Trump, and
Right.
basically none for Harris. Which area of this huge state you're at?
Right now for today, I'm in Allentown.
Hmm.
But tomorrow I'll be in Lancaster. But last week and previous week I was in York and Harrisburg. So I've been in different areas. So whether it's rural or maybe urban. So it really depends on which location you're at. If you're in rural area, I think Trump is more popular in the area. But if you're going to urban areas, so that is more on the city side, they are more for the Democrats. I believe that maybe the people in the more rural area, we are more conservative. We are more trust, maybe based on the family values. And if you go in there with the Trump hat, they're more than welcome. You talk to them. They feel like, oh, yeah, yeah, this is what's going on. They're more acceptable to understand what is going on in New York because I keep telling them I came from New York. I was originally suffering from the migrant crisis and the crime rate in New York City. And I see that things has been going wild in the whole country. And that's why I'm coming down here and telling you this is what happened in New York City. And you have to be aware of it. If you don't want to be going for what we are going for right now, you have to vote Trump. You have to get him back to the office. So people are more like waking up from the reality and they tend to be more acceptable. So which is the good thing. And this morning, I just knocked on one of the door,
Hmm.
and there was a lady. She's around like 80 years old, and she was so excited to see me now at the door. I was like, "Ying, you are Ying?" He said, "Yes, I'm come from New York City." And she was just so excited. I said, "You know, we have a rally yesterday in our town. We never had that. And we saw Donald Trump was here." I was so confused, I was like, here's a rally. Are you talking about the Madison Square Garden? Because that was the one I went to. And then she said, no, he's in our town. She got so excited. And said,
Hmm.
oh, yeah, he was here in Pennsylvania last night. And then we talk about it. She feel like the room was so packed. And she feel people are so influenced them about like what's going on here. People feel so happy that Trump is in town. I think like Trump is doing a very good job. The campaign is doing very good. So he's more attracting people and then getting people to be united and people know what is going on and they feel more acceptable. Again, it's more acceptable right now comparing to 4 years ago.
All right. I like him a lot. It was not an easy way to start in
Mhm.
2015, as a lot of people were for Ted Cruz because we haven't seen, if I may say so, an intellectual trying to kind of get to into office.
Mhm.
And Trump was very different from Ted Cruz. So a lot of people liked him, but it took me maybe 2 weeks to kind of give evaluation to both candidates and see that you should put your money on a boxer, not on a chess
Right.
player.
Mm-hmm.
Although we learned that we have to deal with five-dimension chess in Trump's case, we
Right.
never know what he's plotting, and he surprised everybody with his
Uh,
initiatives regarding the tips, no tax on
mhm.
tips, right?
Right.
And then no tax on Social Security,
Right.
and then what else was there? The last one was no
Mhm.
tax on financing to buy a car, an
Right.
American car, of course. And the story was tariffs. People expect a lot. Although I heard a professor the other day, Larry Summers, who's who used to be Obama's financial advisor, and we know how it
Mhm.
turned out. And he's also Cambridge, some bigwig in Cambridge, but a real professor too. But he didn't
Mhm.
give any real arguments why Trump's plans are bad, and he was kept quoting like, I don't know, 16 Nobel laureates and
Uh-huh.
51 security uh, executives, etc. We heard all this. It was 95. It was 100% a lie.
Hmm.
Because
I think the no tax on the Social Security and I mean for the tips, that one is huge because he's more like aware what the normal people like us are suffering. Because right now, as we can see, we have high inflations and people having difficulty to get food on the table, and especially for those seniors who are rely on the social service. I'm sorry, for the Social Security.
mm,
And for those who are working like for the low income, they mostly rely on the tips. So if we don't have tax on these two category families, for example, the people who work for rely on the tips, or maybe the seniors who are rely on the Social Security, and I think that would be benefit them a lot because right now we have a lot of seniors are having difficulty to pay for their medical bills, to pay for the rent, and especially if we could without the taxing, that would be benefit them a lot. They could save this money to buy more food to put on the table. So I think Trump is more like expert on economics. He knows how to help American people. So he could help the low income family, and he also helped the senior families, like the senior citizens.
let me ask you this question. If you can answer this, would be great.
Mhm,
Uh, there was no talk about Tim Walz lately, uh,
mhm,
and the candidate for vice president under Kamala Harris.
mhm.
And as someone who was born in China, do you have any idea why was he going there for so much time? And what's the deal?
Well,
What's the connection?
that is a good question. He was saying that he go there to do the teaching and maybe the coaching.
Hmm.
I don't get it. So why you travel so many times to China to teaching? Because we have a lot of professor actually teaching in the school. So and all this year, how many times you have been there? Like 80 times?
Some say he was there like 30 times. Then someone said it's kind of it was a return ticket, so he actually was there like 15 times. That
Right.
became like 60, 30 trips or 17.
Mhm.
So that was the sorry, a friend of mine calling. Uh, and so it was something that is not clear at all. It was he like
Mhm.
highly paid chaperone to come over and over because the
Well,
idea is to get, if you say, if you're a CCP and the Chinese Communist Party, you want to
mhm.
involve more people, right? And you
Yeah, I
want to
think
use
like
different teachers to become chaperones, right?
right. So many elected officials right here actually travel back to China last time. Probably they love China so much, but but if you talk about the Chinese country, they are more focused on like influence the local elected officials and going back there. So they try to build a relationship between the two countries. So I don't know what's going on with them, but if you are elected officials, I think if you're working in the Congress or maybe a high level, to deal with the foreign country, I think you travel to China, that'll be fine, you know. Other than that, if you're using your elected official title to going back there, there's a two different things.
Yeah, he did it as a teacher, so it really kind of other. I mean, he can go anytime he wants. He may love
Hmm.
traveling, like the scenery over there, but
Hmm.
altogether, this is he lied a lot about this, and he said that he was at Tiananmen Square in 1979.
Oh yeah,
And
her.
yesterday it turned out from his conversation about baseball that he
Hmm.
doesn't know much about baseball or football, whatever he was coaching. He got confused in the terms. So people who were listening, who were like semi knowledgeable, I would say, they say we never heard those definitions that he used for the game. Like, in
Hmm.
American English, there's plenty of very specific expressions regarding every second of the game.
Hmm.
So he got very muddy about that. So it's there's nothing to be surprised by because he's vice president to Kamala Harris, Miss Ward Salad. And
Hmm.
do you kind of can you imagine? Say our English is not perfect, right? We were not born here, but in case of Kamala Harris, we listen to her, and we all notice repetitions.
Hmm.
We all notice something that he learned by heart.
Hmm.
Obviously, she's not laughing as much as she used to,
Oh.
and not because her the business is not going too well, but
Hmm.
because she was told to stop laughing because she's laughing like a hyena. So that was the common opinion. But nevertheless, I never would laugh at someone who's
Hmm.
laughing too much. But in her case, she used it as a device when she has nothing to say.
Right, right,
That's
right.
what's the opinion in the Chinese community? Do they understand how do you interpret? How do you guys interpret this behavior? Is she
Well,
considered like a valid counterpart in a conversation?
no. Like the Asian community actually feel that is quite disrespect. And I think she has no conclusion. She has no idea about what the solution she's gonna have to provide to the country to make a better America. And whenever people ask her for a solution, she just laugh because she has no
No
solution at
clue.
all. She
Yeah.
just used to laughing to cover whatever the answer she gonna be. You know, she's just trying to buy time and then interrupt people, maybe lead you to some other questions, some other topics, so you don't have to go after and keep asking for questions. She has no clue.
And she has no interest in people. It's so obvious in her case. If you take any president, basically, on my time during my time in the United States, people
Hmm.
had this. Presidents had interest in other people, even such a cold whale as Al Gore. He
Hmm.
had a certain manner, certain how they call it comportment, right, with people. So he would know how to behave, how to look happy. This one comes in and she says a few words again and
Hmm.
again and again and again. Then she disappears. I never
Yeah.
seen one conversation being held by her which would
Hmm.
really, contain some bits of information that she was
Right.
trying to convince somebody. She's trying to impose, and this manner of hers to say, I'm speaking." Who cares? What are you, a queen or princess? I'm speaking. There's no one to. So maybe there is someone to protect her. Maybe there's someone to inflict pain on those who are against her. We
Maybe.
don't know. In this connection, let me ask you: what do you expect when we win in November? What's going to happen on November 6th? Trump is announced the winner, president
Wow,
elect.
that would be what I'm holding for. You know, if we win the elections, I think that would be the first day. The America will be a better America
Yeah.
because, as Trump promised, he will decrease the price of the electricity, like cut into half. That's what he said in the rally. And I think he would deport most of these migrants who are convicted crimes in across the country. So this is very important. As we see now, we have a lot of gangs actually as a migrants coming here
Mhm.
without any background check. They are causing a lot of citizens' life here. They rape our like ladies. They kill our cops, and I think we really need to deport them because we cannot continue to let them stay here and endanger our community.
Mhm.
Because right now, like for example, in New York City right now, we have bail reform, and even though you committed crime, you're not responsible for your actions. So even for these migrants, they could like hurting someone, or maybe with the record of 23 times of a felony assault. They are not gonna be in jail or wherever. They will release the right next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we really need to take this serious. And another thing is, Trump has mentioned that we have to end the sanctuary city across the nation. Right now, the Democrats actually abusing the sanctuary city status. So back in the days, like for example, you came in here, we can if you the cops find out that you are not legal staying here, and they cannot report it to the ICE and deport you. So that is what we call the sanctuary city. But it doesn't mean that all these migrants coming here and you have all this welfare. Look at them. They are going to luxury hotels. They have their gift cards. They have everything. Look at what we have as the U.S. citizens, and look at what New York City is happening. We're cutting like thousand million dollars of the budgets, and just in order to house the migrants here in the city. We don't
Mhm.
against the migrants. We have to understand it because we all immigrants here. But you have to come here legally, and you don't rely on the welfare. Everyone coming here, we work so hard for our American dream. We work hard like to serve the country, like contribute to the country. That is how we walk through the American dream. It's not like we're walking here. The first day I apply for welfare and I rely on the welfare and rely on the country, rely on the benefits. And that only make people feel more lazy and lazy. That is what I'm not looking at. I'm looking at is you come here, you work hard, you contribute to the country, and you build American dream. So we don't support this migrant coming here. Just rely on the system.
Yeah, it used to be so that there was less limitation on business, less limitations of where people can live and work
Mm-hmm.
in terms of money, and it was since the 19th century like this, and the country was kind of, we are told, less civilized, but at the same time more welcoming, and people
Mm-hmm.
came here without any social safety net, and they built a huge wealth for themselves. Too many of them, so more people would come, and they
Mm-hmm.
kept coming until we came here. And when we came here, we see a lot of people relying on social safety net, which is very good. But everybody who's trying to be in small business and move to mid-sized business, and then go into huge business, they are
Mm-hmm.
saying that, as Donald Trump says, they prefer um, to pay taxes but have the red tape removed, the limitations on coding, on
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary just impediments for the business, for them to hire more people, pay people more money, than to pay less taxes but have the red tape in place, and that's telling something.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Ying, let me ask you a question, and I apologize if it's
Yes, okay.
out of place, but I have trouble answering this because I got tons of great answers, but
Mm-hmm.
none of them is counting because I'm a man.
Okay.
So you know where I'm going with this, right? It's a
Okay.
question of abortion. How important it is for is it for an American woman? How
Mm-hmm.
important is it for the community that you
Mm-hmm.
represent? Whether you, no matter if you want it or not, but you represent Chinese community. I represent Russian community, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
says, "Here, this Russian is talking about." What is she talking about? And here is the woman, a Chinese woman, Oriental woman. So she willy nilly, due to our racial, say, faces, right?
Mhm.
Expressed well expressed, hopefully. In opinion, people's opinion, we're kind of people normal. We don't have
Mhm.
like evil. I think I'm working on it not to reflect evil in my face. But what's the deal? What's the huge deal with the abortions, which will continue,
Mhm.
whether American government allows it?
Mhm.
No, people will keep be doing it. Women will be doing it, and I
Mhm.
just don't want to talk about men wanting to do an abortion because there's also a discussion about that.
Right,
Because we
right.
have men who can get pregnant, but
Yeah.
we keep them out for a while.
At least
Let's
for
talk
now.
about the women. Is it a fabricated case, or it's really something that say uh, in your community what people think about it?
Well, I cannot represent the whole community, but as
In
a
your opinion, of
Chinese
course, yeah.
woman, as a mother, I have some idea about it. So I believe that women, we have our own body and we have our right to say yes or no. So it's really personal. So, and also I believe that if once you're pregnant, the little tiny thing is already has his life. It has heartbeat, it has legs, it has feet, they have like eyes, they have all their things that look like human. They are human, because they have life. They are the gift from the God. And I don't think it's right to take away their life. And right now, the Democrats try to like demonize the whole thing. I think that they are trying to make it more, what should I say that word? Uh I would say pro-life. I'm kind of pro-life, but I also believe that women have their own right to choose what is gonna be. And as Trump say that he is not against, but he's not support. He let the 51 state, I mean the states, to make their own decisions because every state they have their own opinions, and they can vote for what is gonna be. But the Democrat they try to like take away, for example, take away the life of babies. Just not right, They try to say that, oh, women, we have our own choice, we can make our own decisions, and the government cannot put a hand on it. Somehow I would say yes or no. It really depends. Like again, a baby, it has a life. We cannot take away the life because that is the gift of the God. And I don't support such like abortion. And especially like Democrats, they're saying that, oh, you could have late term pregnancy abortions.
Yeah, this is absolute
And
like butchery.
that is crazy, like the baby, when it's born, it is 6 months or 7 months. They could like still like grow and be alive, you know what I mean? They could like become an adult in the like later years. So that is the human already. And how could you go abortion after so many months in the uterus? It's just not right.
Oh, and also listen. Now, women in the West they generally marry later in life,
Mhm.
and they have trouble having a baby.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's one of the things also that somebody like for one person who wants an abortion like 24/7,
Mhm.
there's five women who would die to have a baby.
Right. I have a friend. She tried so many times, but she still couldn't get a baby. So having a baby, it's just a gift. And yeah. But right now, I think the Democrats getting a little bit away from what is the common sense, and to try and attack it. What I believe is, rather than going attack on the abortion or maybe striking on the abortion, we should teach the kids, the younger kids, how to avoid getting pregnant if they're not ready. So that is the main thing to avoid what's gonna be. You cannot telling people, oh, you could get pregnant whenever you want, and maybe just do what you want and then get pregnant. That's fine. Go get abortion. I don't like the idea. You know what I mean? Rather than that, you should teach the people. if you're not ready, just protect yourself and don't get pregnant so we could avoid this trouble, because like killing a life, just not a good thing.
Not right, not right, and also just see the bigger picture. And I wish that those efforts who are spent on Planned Parenthood
Mhm.
nationwide would be spent on promotion of equally powerful adoption chain
Mhm.
of offices where people can go and get. I mean. If they don't, they're not ready to have a baby, you give a birth to a baby and just pass it. I don't know. Again, you can kind of look at it as
Right. Let somebody
something that
adopt it
if
away.
you have it, some people leave the kids in the maternity wards, and there's a
Right.
long kind of tradition of this line of behavior as well. But all I'm saying, there are people who want your baby someplace. Instead of killing it, you
Mhm.
can just give your baby to somebody who will bring them up properly. And
Right.
there's again existing network
Mhm.
of such places. Listen, you were in Allentown. Is it a big town? I always drove by. I never stopped in Allentown,
Oh,
Pennsylvania.
it's not quite big compared to New York, of course, but the population is quite higher than the one in York.
Hmm.
So when we go to York, they're more on the rural area. We have a lot of farms nearby.
Hmm.
And then if you have to travel from one house to another house, you have to drive through. But this time in Allentown, we don't have to drive all the way. We could like
Hmm.
park somewhere and then we could walk around and then we come back the other car and then drive to another spot. So it's more like more citywide and more high population right here.
Even in Brooklyn, knocking on 140 doors a day is not easy.
Oh yes, not easy. I have been working since 9 this morning. Is it 9? I can't remember. Early in the morning, and then
Hmm.
until when it starts, so maybe 5:30 or something. So it has been out there for a long time. But usually we do longer time than today.
So what's the fertility percentage? How many people are Trump trumped up, and how many people are terrorist down?
I think the answer will be 50-50. That's why I have been
Really?
pushing my friends to come down here to do the canvassing because we have to push them very hard. Like this morning, I met three the Harris supporter. They are doing canvassing around the town.
Were they hostile
And
or just regularly? No, thank you, ma'am. But
uh,
no,
they are young and
yeah.
they're around like 20 or something. And
Mm.
then they're just canvassing for Harris. I asked them
Oh,
why you support Harris. They have no clue. They have no clue. They really no clue. They say, "Oh, she's a Democrat. That's why they went out there to support her." And
sure.
I keep telling them, "You should support Trump." Yeah. So yeah, I think they have been working very hard with the Pennsylvania. They put a lot of focus on there. So we cannot go behind. We have to work harder to push a little bit harder to make sure that Trump gonna win the Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Listen, everybody, I mean, everybody, I was on the radio yesterday. I'll be on the radio Monday, and there will be a question why people should vote for Trump.
Well, there's a lot of reason. If you don't want inflation, you have to go vote for Trump. If you don't want to have high crime rate, you have to vote for Trump because he respect law and order. If you want a better quality of life, you have to vote for Trump. Again, the inflation is high. And if he's back into the office, I think the solution will be coming up and people more affordable to buy food, to pay for gasoline. Like back in 4 years ago, the gasoline per gallon is like $2 per gallon. But look at now, $3, $4 per gallon, still almost like double of the price. And I just talked about one of the voter today. He has been complaining the tax has been going so high, and all this utility and all this maintenance fee for his house is getting so high. He's at the age of 85 as today, and
Wow.
he's still cutting branches to make fire to cook. Imagine that. And how this Harris or maybe Biden have ever looked into what the people are suffering right here. They don't know what's going on here. So we have to vote for someone to understand. So Trump has, I don't say, like people say that, oh, we shouldn't vote for Trump. But think about it. Who's going to be a strong leader? You are running for US president. You have to be strong leader to go against or maybe negotiate with the foreign country and fight for the best benefit for the American people. Are you expecting Harris going to do that? Are you expecting Biden going to do that? If they can do that, they already prove it in the last 3.5 years.
They haven't done it.
They haven't done anything. This is open border and let people come in here. That's what they have done. And inflation is getting so high. Everything is gonna be like people coming back with the feedback is they don't feel they're getting better than 4 years ago. And that is the main reason you don't feel any better. Why you keep the same person in office? Get somebody else. Whoever made you better in the 4 years ago, which is like Trump, get him back.
How do you expect the U.S. Chinese relationship develop if Donald Trump is in office? What do you
Oh,
think?
that
Where
is,
would that go?
um, I think he has a good relationship with like all different leaders in the whole world. He know how to make deals with them, and I think he will fight for the best for the American people. And at least I don't like limit it to China. I would say, for example, back in the day that when he was in office, we have no war in
Yeah,
Ukraine, Russia, Israel. We don't have
Taiwan.
such
Yeah,
things. And look now, we have all this war going on. We have people get killed during the war. And what this administration has been done for them, have them support anything to stop this, have find any solution to fix this. I don't see any. Israel has been under attack for over a year already. And all these like hostage, they are still not coming home. If Trump win the election, I'm sure he'll work for his whole effort, everything he can to get all these hostages coming back to the United States.
yeah, because it's all Iran's influence, and whatever they say goes with Hamas and Hezbollah and
Mhm.
other organizations because they depend on their money. And meantime, the Arab countries such as Qatar, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, they all looking forward to kind of uh, shape up the region to have United States on their side, oppose Iran. Uh, Strangle them with prices, with oil prices, and start regular business there with Israel, which is able to give them a lot and to take a lot too, with all
Mhm.
the railroads and shipping lines and everything that they have in mind.
Mhm.
Israel would be a happy partner in any business development. Israel doesn't like to be at war all the time, which was
Mhm.
the case. So it could be
Mhm.
a new dawn for the area. And some people think, in a way, even the people I love and I know their heart is very clean, but they say Trump gonna come and they will bomb all America's enemies, like he'll bomb Russia, he'll bomb China, he'll bomb
Mhm.
North Korea, like anybody who kind of says.
Well, I think that is not true. If he would do that, he would do
Yeah.
that 4 years ago. I think, like in the past decades, none of this president during the time of the presidency have no war.
Yeah.
So he was the only president has no war during the time he's in office.
Yeah.
So we need him to get back there because we need peace.
And he thinks not in political terms. He thinks in a way that this is a huge chunk of real estate, and there are
Mhm.
people who are happy to live there. So let
Mhm.
them live there. They like to live there. Let them live here. They want to come to the United States. They have something to contribute. Let
Mhm.
them do it legally.
Right.
We'll be happy to take them in. but
Right.
not in a way that they're being herded over the border,
Mm-hmm.
risking their lives first of all, enriching the cartels, which are kind of
Mm-hmm.
operating. I'm saying on my channel, I'm saying they say people came from like 187 countries. Here's a map of cartel that brings
Mm-hmm.
people across the border for you, CIA, for you, FBI. You go
Right.
investigate those countries because people don't come just to on their own volition many times.
Mm-hmm.
They are offered to come. They say, "How are we going to do it? We live in Congo. How we going to come? We live in Ethiopia. We live in Somalia. How are we going to
Mm-hmm.
make it?" They say, "Don't worry about it. Here's the map." And I heard about stories where people go across the desert, and they have
Mm-hmm.
a phone, and it's a 5G, of course, and you can, and
Oh yeah.
somebody in their hometown
Mm-hmm.
leads them through the desert. The
Mm-hmm.
hometown may be in Russia, and maybe in China, maybe in Africa, but those
Mm-hmm.
people work with cartels and they know the road and they know a few phrases that they tell
Mm-hmm.
through the phone to somebody they come across, and they know the bus schedule and they know every path and nook and cranny on this road. And can you imagine? This is like the whole thing laid out before the governments of all the countries
Mm-hmm.
take care of it. There's not much to investigate. You gotta need big guns and bulletproof vests.
I think they become very systematic on
Yeah.
like sending people coming here. Like I heard some stories as you just mentioned. I heard some stories like people pay like $10,000 or maybe more than that back in their hometown, and they give their passport to the maybe a human trafficker or whatever.
Hmm.
And they travel many different cities, maybe from Puerto Rico, maybe from Mexico, and then they have someone guide them how to cross the border, and then they will have a bus pick them up at the border and then send them to New York City, California, and then they even get them a place and tell them where to go to the shelter and ask them how to apply for welfare. They're very systematic and pay a lot of money to come in here. So it's not because they are poor, they cannot afford a life, or maybe they are like have to come to the United States, but they are advertised that United States has an open border. And once you come in here, you have everything you want. You're gonna have your green card, you're gonna have your welfare, you're gonna have your money, and probably you might have your down payment to pay for the house. That's what the rumor come up in California right now.
Yeah.
And all these people think like, oh wow, I don't have it here, and I just pay a little bit of money, maybe $10,000, and then I come to the United States. Why not give a try? So the open border actually attracting all these human trafficker to do business, the illegal business, and then sending people come in here. So if we don't fix this problem, I think this is coming more and more coming here, and especially all these gangs from another country come in here, and also this is
Yeah.
not a good thing. They're killing people, they're hurting people, they are like taking your family at like in your city in the I think in June, it happened in June. We have a migrants doing social media telling people go to the empty in vacant houses. If you see vacant houses, get in there and then report it.
Yeah.
That is your own property, and then they cannot evict you. Like in New York City right now, if you try to evict a tenant or maybe evict whoever coming here without a lease, it took you like 1.5 year at least. So who's gonna
Yeah.
pay for that? The landlord.
Yeah. Listen, a long conversation. We don't want to go into that about Eric Adams's position right now.
Oh yeah.
He seemed to be the biggest Trump head
Oh
in
yeah.
Manhattan, probably. He's,
Right.
him and Donald Trump, they know each other, of course, because Donald Trump was in New York and a civilian,
Mm-hmm.
and Eric Adams was Brooklyn borough president, and the Trump family had a long term relationship with Brooklyn and respect and help. And I explained to my listeners here in Russian that he was Donald Trump is the first generation developer in his family who went into luxury construction and luxury dwellings and buildings and hotels,
Mhm.
because everybody else was building homes for people, for regular people, so called, right? So it's for
Mhm.
those who
Mhm.
work, who's
Right.
not very rich, but who wants to lead a decent life and wants to live close to their work, like a symphony orchestra or
Mhm.
firehouse or a police precinct, not to live elsewhere, but live decently, and but in the neighborhood. So that was something that where he learned what life is and how his family operated, and lots and lots of stories about how good this family was and
Mhm.
still is. But Eric Adams, of course, got himself into a conundrum, and I don't know. What do you think? What's your gut feeling? Will he get kind of punished for his desire to get compensated by the federal government for his
Mhm.
welcome to welcome of the illegal immigrants, or he will be vindicated because Trump will win and will say thank you, Eric.
Uh,
You did right. What? Yeah,
I really don't know how to answer that one because
yeah.
like right now we have some news saying that he take donation from the foreign country, so that is one trigger the FBI to investigate him. So as I say, if you are elected officials, whether you are in city or in state or maybe in Congress, you're not supposed to accept donation from a foreign country, and you
Yeah.
have to report it. I don't think you report it though.
It's like semi-fabricated, but I will tell you later on. I made a
Mhm.
program based on another program on this channel. It's kind of very fabricated, based on the fact that he went to Washington and said, "Listen, I rolled up the carpet for your illegals. Help me with the money because we overspend in different areas, and for this,
Mhm.
I have no money to continue with what you want us to do." And
Mhm.
they showed him the door, basically. To put it mildly. Uh,
Mhm.
that was it. And then he opened his mouth. He said, I tried, but nobody's helping me. We cannot do it any longer." And he made it public. So we know on
Mhm.
which side the press is nowadays. So that's where it all started, and where the he defend this whole scandal.
Mhm.
But yes, Ying, it's incredibly interesting to talk to you, and I'm looking forward for the results
Mhm.
for the election night. Of course, I'll be working the elections here on November 5th, and
Mhm.
I'll be there to see what's happening. We have some irregular movements here on the polling sites. Early voting, where the ballot is being printed on site, and
Mhm.
when you fill it out and you put it in the machine says I cannot read it, and it's a
Yeah.
repeating thing, and you have experienced the same thing. So I would be in touch. I wrote to a number of places, and everybody, if someone somebody in the press, so we can direct them to the sites where such occurrences took place.
Mhm.
um, with this, I just want to remind in Russian, I want to let you go. I would like to have you again very soon,
Mhm.
hopefully uh, soon around November 5th, because you will
Right.
be back, I understand, and you will be here, like all of us, like holding our fingers crossed, and doing other things that come with nervousness and
Mhm.
desire to win. But this year, can we say we did all we could?
Right. That's what we have been doing. We have been like working so hard, getting people to join us, to volunteering, to canvassing for Trump. And even though right now we have around 30 people are canvassing for Trump right here across the whole Pennsylvania, and I also have volunteered staying in New York City to
Mhm.
canvassing for Trump as well.
Well,
And we have been working so hard to push it harder and harder. We have to
great
make sure
job.
he get back to office because we can lose this. Elon was right. If we lost this election, I don't think we're gonna have another one.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we cannot find any other strong leader as Trump.
Yeah, it will take a generation for another business leader, if ever, to
Right,
step forward and say, "I want to do this," and lose billions of dollars.
right,
Think about it,
right.
how much money he lost because he was bold and he
Mm-hmm,
decided to do it. Whatever would be his initial impulse, but he grew and he realized a lot of things. And he today, I liked him in 2015, and I like him in 2024. 9 years, and
right.
he's the man who learned his lesson in many
Mm-hmm,
ways, but not to didn't get disappointed in himself and in the goal that he chose for himself,
right.
but only became better.
Mm-hmm,
I'm translating fantastic interviews that he had, particularly with Tom Klingenstein. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a great
mm-hmm,
interview. And Tom Klingenstein is a big intellectual supporter of his,
mm-hmm,
not from legal standpoint, not from anything else, but strictly from intellectual standpoint. And he is absolutely fantastic.
mm-hmm.
Ying, thank you so very much. Be
Thank
careful
you.
with those crazies. Pennsylvania crazy is is a special kind of crazy, but New York,
I feel we're okay here.
we kind of used to all kinds. We're from Brooklyn, so all best to you and your team,
Mm-hmm. Thank
Miss
you.
Trump Force Captain, as your
Oh,
T-shirt says. Yeah,
thank you, sir.
and come back and we'll celebrate.
Right. We're gonna have a big party afterward.
Yeah, that's for sure. Everybody, I want to make a statement in Russian right now because we have our gathering, and if you feel like it, you can stay for a minute because it won't be too long. Дорогие друзья, очень хочу всех видеть вас завтра. 7 часов вечера у нас этот вечер на русском языке. Это будет Хэллоуин. Там будет наш друг Константин Боровой. Сегодня подтвердилось. Я надеюсь, что все произойдет и нам подвезут пиво. У нас будет, ну, большая радость встречи друг с другом с достаточным количеством спиртного, это точно. Спиртное бесплатно, но есть билет. Билет $10 плюс, то есть если вы хотите дать больше, никто вам в этом удовольствии не откажет, и театр получит поддержку. Я это делаю для поддержания театра Эссенсьера, где это все будет происходить по адресу 2653 Кони Айленд Авеню, Бруклин. Это примерно э, на углу Кони Айленд Авеню и Авеню X, наискосок от бывшего ресторана «Распутин». Uh, Ying, everybody is so thankful to you for what you do and for your contribution to our victory. Our community feels very strongly about winning this year. We know we have a lot of common, our community, and we're all Americans here. We are all
Mm-hmm.
into this country, and we are all patriots. And we are ready to argue peacefully and patriotically with anybody regarding the virtues and exceptionality of this country.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much. Thank you. See you
See you
soon.
soon.